NFL, you like that?
I do like that.
You like that?
That works.
How about some vitamin D? The Dallas Cowboys open up the season with who? The Philadelphia Eagles.
Just take it away.
September 4th.
Take it
Vitamin
away.
D. You see what I'm working with here? You just stick around. You might get healthy by the end of the show here. Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, hello to 2025. We are starting early on a Thursday night to open the season. Yes, CeeDee Lamb has a new running mate. Brian Schottenheimer, please do something good in year one. You're taking on the champs. Jalen Hurts and the crew, of course, coming off that Super Bowl, that second one there for Jeffrey Lurie and the city of brotherly love. This is the first time since, of course, that one they had previously, but now we get to see the NFC East rivals opening up the season there, as I mentioned, September 4th on NBC, that Thursday night. Now here it is. Of course, last season, Philly beat Dallas twice. Cowboys had a lot of injuries. A lot of things happened that season. We're not going to talk about that. The Cowboys have won the last 7 games, though, and playing on Thursday night, so that is a good omen. But Philly has won the last 3 home games versus Dallas. So this is the first schedule release in the NFL, but it's not the last, because take a look at it. Outside of that, we'll get more games throughout the week, of course, starting tomorrow as well, those international games. And then Wednesday, CBS will release theirs, and the full schedule coming out on Hump Day. On Wednesday, and we are here to get locked in, and nobody better to get us locked in than who? My guy, Ryan Wilson. Fresh off the mock drafts of 1,000, what was it, like 4,025? I think that's the number you're up to, right? That's something like that, right? Somewhere.
That sounds about right. Yes, sir.
All right, well, now we're on to Sunday here, because now we have the first official game of the year, the Cowboys and the Eagles, starting us on Thursday night. Your reaction to this matchup?
Hey, Brandon, good to see you. By the way, Zach is one of those people that probably in middle school came to school sick in September all the way through June. Like, he was always sniffling about something. So I'll be praying for Zach.
I'm healthy.
Send tissue.
This guy had no voice on Friday and didn't work.
You hear that rasp?
No. Can I drink some water?
Go ahead. Congestion. Go ahead, Ryan.
Zach,
What's your point? Take it away. Go ahead, Ryan. Your reaction to this
Zach,
game.
I need you to go see the nurse. Go down the hall, go talk to the school nurse, and then come back here when you get some lozenges. All right, look, Brandon, that's enough about Zach. Let's talk about your Dallas Cowboys. Look, man, you read the numbers trying to make yourself feel better about how they have a chance in this game. And in their defense, in the last 10 years, they are 11-9 against the Eagles. Only 3-7 when they're in Philadelphia. So this feels like it's going to be a fun matchup. It's going to be an NFC East matchup. We're going to see these two teams battle it out, and it'll be a great way to start off the season. But I do have some concerns about your team. You talked about Brian Schottenheimer, year one there. Jerry Jones made that announcement in the middle of the night going into the weekend a few months ago, because he didn't really want to talk about Brian Schottenheimer. Maybe he turns things around. I am excited about the prospects of George Pickens being able to catch passes from Dak Prescott alongside CeeDee Lamb. So that is also encouraging. But this Philadelphia Eagles team is one of the best teams I can remember being assembled, and they're somehow better on paper than they were a few months ago when they won the Super Bowl after beating the pants off the Kansas City Chiefs. But all that said, the other thing to keep in mind, a little positive news for you. Again, excited about this matchup. But the last 2 week 1 games on the road, Dallas Cowboys have won. They beat the Giants 2 years ago, beat the Browns last year. Unfortunately, they're not playing the Browns this year in week 1, but they are playing the Eagles. And if they win this game, Brandon, you have every reason to be excited about your Dallas Cowboys, so that could be a great way to start off the season. 115 days from now, by the way, September 4th.
Oh, 115. So close, so close. Let me ask you this, though, Ryan, because we always think about it when it's week 1, win or lose, depending on who comes out on this one. What are some of those storylines that you might be watching, specifically with the Eagles? Because when you talk about defending champs, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, Saquon, can he do it again? What are some of those storylines catching your eyes with them?
Yeah, so all those guys will be back, and all those guys were a big part of their success. Maybe one of the the storylines we're not talking enough about just yet, and they'll probably get to that point as we get closer to training camp, is replacing Mekhi Becton along the offensive line. He left and signed elsewhere, and that could be a minor concern, but they are so incredibly stacked. Nakobe Dean being out could also be another storyline, the inside linebacker who hurt his knee, and that's why they drafted Jihad Campbell, traded up one spot from 32 to 31 with the Chiefs to get the Alabama linebacker. I would imagine he's going to make his way into that starting lineup probably relatively seamlessly, and that could be another fun storyline because because insane athlete in the middle of that defense, along with all those insane athletes they drafted last year with Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell in the secondary, I don't think there are many concerns on the offensive side of the ball outside of the Mekhi Becton story I just mentioned. But I think they're going to pick up right where they left off, and that's going to be the big thing. There's been no turnover at the coordinator position. Kellen Moore's gone, so that's one. But the other thing is that they got Jalen Hurts back. Nick Sirianni feels a little bit more comfortable in who he is. And, of course, they got all those playmakers coming back that you talked about, including Saquon Barkley.
All right, we'll see what Philly does here as they try to push it forward. Ryan Wilson is always pushing it forward, but he's not the only one because the fellas are pushing the power during.
Jerry Jones had said we got two substantive trades they're working on. Is there another one coming? Or maybe not. Maybe that was just what I think the Houston Texans in the trade down possibility. More free agency moves. If the Cowboys want to, they'll probably say it's a 365-day business. We'll break down some of the reports and claims on that. But remember, when the Cowboys do stuff, we have videos. Even if that's a 1 a.m. Eastern Time and 7 a.m. Eastern Time video, we got you covered. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. A popular suggestion, Des Bryant has mentioned it, several of you guys in the comments, other content creators and some Cowboys media were like, yeah, sign Nick Chubb. On one end, I get it. On the other hand, our good friend Jane Slater has said that Nick Chubb was, quote-unquote, never in play for the Dallas Cowboys. And there are other names we're going to talk about here in a little bit. The Nick Chubb idea specifically, to me, feels a little bit more like, well, I would like them to do this. Which, I want to be clear, that type of idea, suggestion, wish casting, hopium, that's not a bad thing. I do plenty of it. It's fun to do it. It can kind of cross and blur the lines sometimes, but I think that was more like optimistic's ideas. And I get it, because it's Nick Chubb. Everyone knows who Nick Chubb is. Problem is, he was not Nick Chubb last year. The production fall off that you saw from Nick Chubb, who's played 10 games the past 2 years due to another devastating injury, that's a huge concern entering his age 30 season. I have said it before and I will say it again. I think if you're adding Nick Chubb, it is a type of move that should be viewed in the same vein as Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. I don't think you should sign Nick Chubb. I don't think he's going to get the offers of, this is our guy. That is not what the contract should say. That should not be the expectation, because unfortunately, he has to prove it. He wasn't good last year. He's a freak athlete. The stuff he's been able to recover from is wildly impressive. At some point, that will catch up to him. I think if you bring in Nick Chubb, you're probably saying, all right, Javonte, Miles, Nick Chubb, you three are competing for maybe 2 spots. That's how you should approach it if you're adding somebody of Nick Chubb's caliber at this point in his NFL career. You promised me 2022 version. Hell yeah, let's ride. That guy wouldn't be available. So do you think the Cowboys need another running back? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comment section of today's show.